The base FHA loan limit for St. Mary's County is $347,300, while the FHA loan limit in Calvert and Charles counties are $510,400. The high balance in Calvert and Charles are $765,600, and we do not have a high limit in St. Mary's County. If you are elected, will you remedy the major disparity in St. Mary's County for FHA financing?
Yes, absolutely. And St. Mary's County is in the same region as Calvert and Charles, and they have comparable income levels as well. And I do agree that St. Mary's County should have the same standards as Calvert and Charles. And we have individuals that live in Charlotte Hall that one may be on one side of the road compared to the other, and they have to abide by completely different standards. So yes, I agree, and that is something I will absolutely support in Congress.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, obviously all over the country we have such disparities, as you know, and we have to deal with that. It's a complicated issue, as you probably know. And you've talked to people, I'm sure, in your line of business, in what you head up for the county. So I know Maxine Waters is looking, the chair of the Financial Services Committee, which has jurisdiction over FHA, is looking at that to see how they can make it fair across the country. And then we have to look at locally. We've had this issue on hotel rates.
Right.
As you probably know, Tom Waring has talked to me about this, of what our daily rates compensable from the federal government are, you know. And we in many ways are like a suburban county. In many ways we're a rural county, but in many ways we're, you know, a suburban county. And so in terms of costs and things of that nature. But we're looked at by some as a rural county and therefore get a lesser rate. And we need to work on that to show that in fact to the decision makers that we are in as competitive a field as is Calvert County, for instance. Now Calvert County, I think the average home price in Calvert County is probably more than it is. I don't know those statistics, but you probably know them.
Northern Calvert is a little more.
Yeah.
Southern Calvert is less.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Northern Calvert, you know, has
For sure.
a lot of really 5, 6, 7, 800,000, 900,000 homes in, as you say, Northern Owings and
In Dunkirk, right.
Dunkirk.
Right.
So what you have to do is you have to show the people who are making the decision as to why we ought to be more available to higher prices because we're building higher price homes here. But
Right.
it's a little, let me give you a,
Well, that 347 is very close to our median home price here in
Right.
St. Mary's, so it puts people very close to the threshold of not being able to afford a home and having to put conventional, typically 20% down if they can't go FHA.
and very few people can get 20%
Exactly.
down.
So then it limits people
They can service the mortgage, but they can't get a 20% down payment.
Exactly. So then it prevents home ownership
Yep.
with this lower threshold. And so we're looking at that as a disparity between the three counties is now we have people who can support a mortgage, but because the loan limit threshold is so low in St. Mary's County for FHA, just having to put 3.5% down compared to the other counties, then now they're stuck renting and they're not able to afford the home. So it is a concern because home ownership is a way of wealth, just like having an entrepreneurship. So
It's a way to build capital.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So it's almost prohibitive.
Yeah, but you put your finger on the problem of the challenge that the regulator, the FHA person has, and the legislator has in terms of looking at this. When you say the median price of homes $347, what's the median price in Calvert?
Just a little less. But because
Of all of Calvert?
Of all of Calvert, it's going to be about that or higher because the northern part of the county is what's bringing that up.
And what's happening is
Yeah.
they look at
Countywide.
I haven't talked to anybody, as Calvert being much more of a suburban county.
Sure.
And St. Mary's would like to look at itself as a rural county. And it is a rural county. In many, you could drive miles through land. But the price for that is you got to say, well, that's a rural county. We'll give a lesser price there. And this is essentially a suburban county, i.e. Owings, Dunkirk. Wason's
They
Corner?
probably will have to look at it from a broader picture. Like the majority of Calvert County is rural development qualified, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you can get a rural development USDA loan
Right.
in the majority of Calvert County, even if you are in a higher area, right? So, but not in St. Mary's County because of the density. So Lexington Park in certain areas don't qualify for 0% down rural development
Right.
because of the density, but you're still just as rural. Right? So we have to look at disparities between the counties and the different loan programs and how we want to be able to have home ownership, which is very key. But those two programs almost contradict each other. Do you see that?
Well, let's you and I talk about it. Let me look into it.
Okay, absolutely.
Because in Lexington Park, you mentioned,
Yes.
they have a 22,000 person employer whose average salary is somewhere around $100,000. Because we have so many scientists,
Correct.
PhDs, mathematicians, highly skilled
Right.
personnel.
We have a
work
high
there.
STEM career here,
Right.
but they can't use USDA. You see
I
that?
gotcha.
So
But when
yeah.
you got people looking at this and saying, well, look at this
Right.
asset they
because
have.
they look like it's a rural,
Right.
we're in a rural town, right? But
Right.
when you look at the USDA map that's chopped up, it divides up Lexington Park and none of that qualifies. So,
Well, let's talk about it.
okay, very good.